This is a complete guide on how to do brembo brakes at home. This is for any Dodges, Scatpacks, Hellcats, Trackhawks, AMGs, anything with brembo brakes, 4-piston, 6-piston. This is going to be a good guide for you. So the front bolts are 21 millimeters. You go ahead and take those out. Make sure you hang the caliper. You don't want it hanging on the hose. And good practice to put a cloth behind it so you don't scratch it. I like to replace the rotor first and then do the brake pads. It's just the way I do it. This next step isn't necessary, but I like to do it. I like to clean the hub with a little Scotch-Brite, or if you don't have that, you could use sandpaper. Just gets that rust buildup off so you don't have any balance issues or shakes in the front wheel. You always want to clean the factory oil off the rotor. That prevents it from rusting in the warehouse. I throw a lug nut on just to make sure the rotor's flush, that I don't have to fight it when I put the caliper back on. Now, I recommend a torque wrench on this because with these brembo brakes, they're made of aluminum, so you will blow out the threads, you'll strip them, and it's not a fun job. So, torque wrench is definitely recommended on that. Go ahead and grab that thin punch. I guess you could use a screwdriver if you had to, but it's like doing surgery, so you gotta be very careful and just have patience. Once the pins are released from their lock retainers, you just push down on that anti-rattle clip, and that will relieve the pressure off the pins so you can pull it out. Once that's off, the top one will come easily right out. Always try and put what you take off in the same spot on your tray so you stay organized and you remember which way things go and a certain orientation. If you're lucky, you'll be able to push the pads away from the rotor with your hands, but sometimes it does require to use like a little pry tool. Always try and use plastic. You don't want to damage or scratch anything. Once the pad is out, you go ahead and use your plastic pry tool. Never use metal on this stuff. And just push the piston inwards so you have room for your new pad. Brembo recommends you use Be Quiet to help with any squealing and noise. So you just rub a generous amount on the back and on the pins. The same thing you did for one side, you do to the other. Give those pins a good cleaning, and then you apply some Be Quiet to it. You'll want to start with the top pin and make sure you put that anti-rattle clip in first and then slide the pin through. Otherwise it won't slip under the pin. The same way you remove this pin is the same way you're going to put it back in. Apply some pressure to that anti-rattle clip and that will let you put the pin right through. The next step is a little tricky. You want to be very careful not to slip and nick the caliper. Go ahead and grab that thin punch and just lightly tap these pins in until the lock retainer is fully seated. I always double check, make sure I accounted for everything I removed, make sure the bolts are tight, make sure those pins are fully seated, give the rotor a spin, make sure nothing's dragging or any weird noises, and go ahead and put that wheel on. If you noticed, I have saran wrap around my socket. This prevents scratching on the rim and on the lug nuts. So the torque spec on that is 111 foot-pounds. The final step is you're going to do this 15 times. 40 miles an hour to 0 for 6 seconds. And then let the brakes cool for 1 minute and repeat.